Hello, everyone. Good people. We are back. We are back. We are back. And guess who's back?
I'm
It's
back.
Austin is back, y'all, in the building. Once again, I'm Dr. Briley and
Austin Tony.
And we are here to give you some beautiful knowledge on real estate, beautiful knowledge on the property management side, and everything there comes and is about real estate. Okay? So what's the topic today?
Right. So talking about commercial real estate.
Okay.
I know we've hit this a little bit. We're both in on commercial real estate.
Yeah.
A little bit. So figure we'd talk about that. Something that's been going across media right now is there a crisis or are we in a transition with commercial real estate? So yeah, dive into that. So I did some research a little bit too to have just statistics on things, but the main thing that everyone's talking about is ever since COVID happened, the word that we don't say anymore.
I know.
What happened to all of and I know you would see this a lot more just because you're out there with your property management company.
Right.
You're the one that has your hands on all of these. That is your business. So everyone went home, started working from home. And I know, like, my mom's company, they were like, don't come back in the office.
Right.
If everyone's good. They sent out a survey too, even to see, because they have a tower downtown, and everyone was like, "We're good. We're good. We got our home office set up now. We're good."
I bet you the only people that wanted to come back was the micromanagers.
Right.
I bet you they were at home just
or the
like
people with all the kids, all the kids at home.
Right.
But yeah, so did you see a lot of your business go down?
It's and I know we kind of joke around and laugh about the COVID time, and I think we went from there to such a fast pace now that it's almost, and every time I talk to people, they always say it's like a blur. Like they don't even necessarily know this time frame with everything. What is what? When did this time frame happen?
Right.
I mean, do you feel like that before we jump into this?
Yeah, I've gotten deep with people on how the past 4 years, maybe 5 now, because we're in 2025,
I was just gonna say,
has been one big year. Like it's felt like one big mush of years all pushed into one.
And throughout that little it was almost like 2 years trying to figure it out, kind of. So with the property management side, what happened, I mean, it's a multitude of things. You had people in limbo because people didn't have jobs, and so they were not necessarily, they didn't have a job that if they were a business owner had property that was real estate, the commercial side, and their own home. So now is the uptick that I'm seeing. What I see now is people that are working from home, the offices are saying, why do we even have the space? What is this space? Like nobody's here. And we're paying for that. And I think too, because of the crunch of the economic system going higher, groceries, gas, people are now looking at their commercial properties going, do we really need this?
Right.
Is this a necessity when we got the whole staff working at home and we only got 3 people in the office? Why won't they go home? 2, at one point they gave people options. You could still go into the office and or be at home.
Right. So they hung on to it that long.
They hung on to it that long.
4 years later now.
Right. But don't most companies do that kind of stuff? Don't most commercial clients do that? They all have spaces and stuff that they don't even occupy. But I think now they're like the light bulb has come on, and now people are saying, wait a minute, why do I have this?
Yeah.
Do I need this?
Right.
I pay $25,000 a month for this rental space?
Right.
Why?
Yeah, especially for leasing. I was even thinking about just
owning
people that own those buildings, but leases especially. I could not get myself to lease something. It's like a subscription that's over here that you forget that you don't even use anymore.
Right.
That'd make me sick.
But a lot of people do that. And a lot of people still was getting the building maintained with us, and nobody was there. Which, yes, you need to get the exterior, keep it clean, so you don't get vandalism. But we're talking about interior too, so still like getting things updated inside, and nobody's in the building.
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
this whole new modern building and still
Right.
no
And
one's using
still
it.
no one's using it. So it's kind of weird. But if I was in their place, I would have been utilizing it for other things.
Right.
Especially depending on how the space was laid out.
Yeah.
They could have literally been making money off of that revenue and still having employees do,
Right.
doing stuff. But I don't think they think like that sometimes.
Yeah. And I have noticed a lot of people have taken even I don't have like a perfect example, but like a business that doesn't have to have a storefront. They don't have to have someone there to talk to you in person.
Right.
They could be talking to their clients online. So they have completely restructured their business to be all an online
Right.
business. So
Right.
we don't need to talk to the public face
Right.
to face. We can talk to our clients over the phone or through emails. So
And if they need the
I feel
space,
like
they
you've
can go rent
seen,
a spot for a day.
right? Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
I know that's really popular now. Those what is it, rent an office or
yeah,
whatever, and
virtual offices
yeah,
and
and you do it
stuff.
for a day,
Right.
and
But a lot of clients could
or
have
just
did that with their
meet for
building.
one meeting.
Right, right, right,
Yeah,
right. So with that, just to answer your question, yeah, now we're starting to see. Back then, it was more the foreclosure side of us maintaining the foreclosure homes that the
gotcha.
banks seized or took over. We still do that. However, the uptake now is more of people are making the decisions, and you might have insight on the real estate side of people making decisions of they don't want it no more, and now let's go ahead and sell it,
Yeah,
because it doesn't do us any good now. And economic times, we need that revenue cash flow.
yeah.
So, what is it looking like on your side of the real estate for commercial properties?
For foreclosing and closing
It,
down and moving out.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you see a lot like vacancy rates are huge right now.
Oh, really?
I actually pulled a stat from the National Association of Realtors posted
Mm-hmm.
something about the office vacancy rates are up to 18.4% year over year.
Wow.
Industrial space has grown 11% year over year, and driven by e-commerce. So I think that's production of things. I know a lot of political things are going on with that, but
Right.
I know everyone wants to bring business here, especially in the Houston
Everybody.
area. It's going
Everybody. It's
crazy,
going crazy.
which is awesome. So that's cool to see that growing.
Right.
That's the uptick I think I see is those spaces are growing. You're
Mm-hmm.
seeing there's not space. There's industrial buildings going up like one after
18.4%.
another.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that shows that that's such a need right now because there's no space for them to go. They're having to build brand new ones all the time, new facilities
Right.
because there's not even facilities available to go
Right.
to. I want to bring my business there, but there's nowhere to go. So now
There's
I have to
nowhere to
go
go.
build it.
So do you see people selling land now more than ever before, or is it kind of for people to make those decisions?
Yeah, I feel like you see chunks like
Okay.
over so many years, just especially like in speaking of Houston specifically, we get like, every so many years of a drive of people in,
Mm-hmm.
especially whenever COVID happened, we got all that rush of people
Right.
from northern states and California.
Right.
Everyone was coming here. So once you see the city grow out, people catch on to that. They're like set with these, 300, 500 acre
300.
farms.
Right.
And they're like, no, now there's all this commercial stuff coming next to me. Like, I didn't move out here for that.
Right.
So they're pushing out even further and
Right.
they get rid of that 300 to 500 acres. So then you see everyone around them starts to do it too.
Right.
So, because that's what we do as humans is follow each other and move together and do the same things at the same time.
Right. Right.
It's just how we're
How
structured.
we
Excuse
are.
me. Yeah, that's how we're built. So, yeah, you do see that in
Hmm.
waves.
So I guess like with the waves, I mean, it does create such a vital I mean, I wish we could keep a better pulse of it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's you look for people in the industry like yourself and me to share information to try to lay it out all on the table, dissect it. I'm like, no, 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 that meat's not done yet. Don't
Yeah.
cut into that. Oh, excuse me, ma'am, it's not time to eat that cake.
Right.
So we're the people that we're slapping hands. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you need to get your stuff in order first before you do this. You're eating cake. before you hadn't had dinner.
Right.
So it Austin just loves
Cake.
my
I know the
illustrations,
cake.
y'all. He just
Took me
yeah.
out.
So that's I guess I wish we could take a better pulse at everything when it comes to stuff because I mean it's we're all working it, but sometimes people don't that's in the industry for a long time or just got into the industry or just been there for a little bit, they can't even take the time to do what we're doing to try to dissect a little bit. It's even hard for us to do it
Right.
sometimes
Right.
because there's so many moving
I
pieces.
know. Yeah, I don't could never be an economist because I don't know how those people analyze things because I think, especially in real estate, that there's an irregular heartbeat. So it's not just a regular pulse.
Right,
Everything comes in waves and we have a
right,
doop 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 all at once. You have
right,
a rush of things all at once and then
right. It's
it's
almost like you had a heart
stagnant.
attack, but wait a minute, you're back.
Right,
You're
yeah,
back.
yeah. So it's stagnant and then you die for a couple
Right.
minutes and then you come back and it's regular for a
She's a
little
goner.
bit.
She's a goner.
Right? For real. Oh no,
Right.
she's back.
She's back. She's
Yeah.
back. Bring her
Things
back to her house.
yeah,
Yeah.
things are selling
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
That transition is wild right now.
Yeah, we definitely are seeing that houses are back to because it's slowing down the residential side.
Okay.
Sped back up after the first of the year, thank God. But
Where
now
is
you're
it right
seeing,
now?
well, some houses are flying off the market, some houses are sitting, and then in 1 week you have multiple offers. You're like, wow, this has been here for almost 100 days.
Wow.
And now you have a multiple offer situation. Like,
Wow.
that's
Same for
pretty
commercial.
odd.
Same for commercial too.
A little bit. I think it's that keeps a more secure
Okay.
pulse, a more regular heartbeat.
Okay.
Just because there's only so many people in that
In
echelon.
right.
You only have so many people
Right.
looking at that. But no, I think that it is kind of the same in a specific area.
Right.
Like a hot spot. If you're talking about leasing, you do see people fighting for areas sometimes.
Well, what I've
That's
been
all over
seeing
the board
too
with
is
that.
areas that were not so okay. So we just said Houston is a hot spot, right?
Right.
The subsidiaries are a hot spot too. So don't think that, oh, I'm moving to Houston, but I'm coming to Pearland or I'm coming to Magnolia or wherever, right? And shout outs. No, but everything is moving in such a just because Houston's growing, that doesn't mean the other areas aren't either. Like they are moving as fast. Some of them are moving even faster than just the metropolitan Houston area too,
Oh yeah.
because they have that room, they have that extraness to expand more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Hard to keep up with.
well, it's hard to keep up with too, but it's also hard to when we get clients from other states, it's hard to describe Houston. It's hard to describe the subsidiaries.
Right.
Because you get that question, and I know I get it. You probably get it too. Of describe Houston for me.
Yeah.
I've never been. I visited one time.
Which part?
Right. Which part? What do you what tell me? I'm like, tell me more about your family before I can get you to the realtor, right?
Exactly.
Tell me more about your family. Do you have a business coming here? What's going on? What's happening? And yeah, yeah, to me, I'm going, okay, tell me more. But they always say, tell me about Houston. Tell me, the best areas. There's so many good areas, but then commercial side, that's changed. I mean, that's changed.
Yeah.
Because now you also have where we had bad areas and we revamped them. And everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? We had these low-lying areas that people warn you about that are here and have been here for a while. So if you've been in Houston or the subsidiaries, you've been here for a while, you go, don't go there,
Right.
don't go here. And I don't want to tell you those places because I definitely don't want nobody coming from me.
Yeah.
On here, I got a lot of stuff happening. I don't want no more. But you get all of these areas that used to be people didn't travel as much to, right? But now, what is it called? Gentrifying.
Gentrifying.
Yes, but prior to that, they was calling it something else. Because I was on a task force team with it. Regentrification. They were calling it something else. Gosh, I can't even remember it now. Um, what it is going to come later. I
Yeah.
promise you, it's come later. But basically, we were on this task force, and they had a hot spot, and hot not a hot spot like Wi-Fi, y'all. A hot spot of the mapping of telling you every area that was a low line area, and then what they were going to do to come in and revamp it.
Low line, you mean like low income,
Low
high
income,
crime?
high crime. You don't want to walk your dog
Right.
here. You don't want. They don't have no bike lanes. Just and what they've done in Houston, and I do know the Northline area was one of the first areas that they did the look, the rebranding, the touch up to it. That was one of the first because they added bike lanes and they started doing things, widening the street, getting rid of potholes,
Right.
doing all of these little things and working with the county. So eventually,
That's when those development development districts started popping up.
okay.
Yeah, for things like that. So we talked about that a little bit when
I
we
was
were
just
talking about all the
yeah.
different districts there are now and
Yeah.
multiple utility districts and things like that. Um, yeah, someone was like, "Oh, well, if the city doesn't want to put money to it, let's add another tax and make this area be in a
Being
developmental
that's
district."
something for me to check out to the developmental district because
Yeah,
some areas have it and some areas don't.
right. It
You know,
usually falls off after a certain year, which a lot of them do. You know, that
really.
tax, kind of like a school tax, is a lot of times how you see they put those on,
Okay.
and they'll put that in areas that they don't have the money yet. We'll just add
Right.
a tax and have everyone in the area pay for it to
Right.
get the new streets, to redo the sewer
But what about the
systems and the
county?
water systems. Same
Is
thing. It's
same
put on by the county, I guess.
county
I'll have
kind
to
of
research that. I
okay.
actually don't know who
Who
initiates and governs that. Usually, districts are governed by the county you're in,
okay.
but these districts are, like you said, only one area. They
Right.
decide, what
The
zip
fate
code.
of
Yep.
of the
Right.
area
Right.
and stuff. Now I do know that Tomball has a developmental district. But they've been around for a long time.
Right. And it's not a lot of always redoing something out there. It's
Right.
something like Tomball
Maintaining.
that's growing. Yeah, it might be that they are growing so much that the infrastructure's not there because it's all farmland.
Right.
But that subsidiary, that city doesn't have the funds to put in new roads all through there and
Right.
pipe all of the sewage and water through there and things like that. So they
Right.
should
And
add
that's
another
huge.
tax and let the people pay
But
for it.
that's huge when you start thinking about it because if you bought into an area, you bought into something, I know things change, but sometimes people come through and they're already on a fixed, situation or, they know that, okay, I'm going to live here for 10, 15 years because this is an area that I can see that I can financially be sustainable for me and my family.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the dynamics change, so
Hmm.
and it also can change for the commercial side too because you know I've seen things go lately. I don't know when it's going to go back down, but I've been seeing things like shoot up high for areas of commercial stuff that I'm like,
Like
really?
lease prices. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, what where are they getting this from? And
Right.
I guess it's the demand,
Yeah.
maybe.
I definitely think so.
So for ones that don't need the space, and then they let it go, but then there's still a high demand for people that want the space, I guess.
For sure.
So and that's a good thing. That's a good thing because I always like to see the market do well, even in kind of turbulent times.
Yeah.
Egg prices, we'll probably look back at this YouTube clip and be laughing. But, egg prices, what maybe the basic eggs, not the organic, maybe about $5.99 or something. And I remember when they used to be like 89 cents for the
Right.
same carton of eggs. So I guess things do have to keep moving in such a way.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
also people's economic, what they make on the job has to do too,
Right.
or we're going to be in a situation.
Right. I think we're at head to head with that right now.
What else we have, Oscar?
Yeah.
What you have for me?
So, um, kind of went into just so we could educate or give ideas more
Okay.
so on our viewers, somebody that wants to come in and hear this, that, oh, prices are rising. Maybe it's a good time for me to get something like this,
Right.
build a strip center,
Right.
buy a strip center and redo it. It's something my family's done and done well on. One of my uncles, it's like his forte is he'll buy something like that
Mm-hmm.
and put his real estate company in there. So they move a lot of time or a lot every so often, and
Right.
he'll throw that in there. So that's his, he owns the building, so he's not paying office space
Right.
while he's there, start redoing the other ones and getting them rented out.
That's
Once he's at
wonderful.
full capacity, got money banked up again, he'll move it and
But
put
that's good.
fill in that space again. Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's a good niche.
right,
Yeah,
it is.
literally, that's a good niche to keep growing your business, keep moving, and keep making the income happen. But at the same time, you see an opportunity, and that's key.
Right,
I keep telling people all the time, find your niche in real estate. You don't have to do all of it. You can't do all of it.
right.
I mean, you can't.
Yeah, you're taught in that real estate school to pick a lane,
Pick
especially
a
starting
lane.
out. Like I've gotten a little overwhelmed with going so many lanes, but I'm a yes man, so anytime
Right,
somebody asks me a question, I'm gonna go figure it out. I'm not gonna tell
right.
you no, I don't know.
But
I
it's
will
been
never say
beneficial to
that.
you too. I think it's probably more so for those that can't stay focused on, pick something.
Right.
You can't be
Well, it takes someone to go out and get the knowledge.
right,
So I'm not just gonna say yes and try to wing it.
right,
I'm gonna go build a team that's gonna teach me and show
right,
me,
right,
and that's how I figure out and learn.
right,
I don't just sit and Google
right,
how to how to sell a
right.
commercial property or how to
First day,
how to
I have a
lease out a
client.
house. What
Yeah,
do I
right.
do?
Right,
Um,
right. Letting one thing teach you how to do something. You need to have
right.
something under your belt. You need to be watching the market. You need to be studying it. You need to be taking notes. You need to be doing all of this.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot into it.
so I might be jumping around, and stop me if I am, because we share our screens and we talk about the hot topic right now. But um, what about when I think of real estate, and I try to think about it for like someone that's coming in, but do you feel that in the next well, I'm trying to give a good year term, 5 years, we will be steady, possibly, and these are just estimates, y'all, steady, or we will be even more like chaotic, crazy, trying to still run and do stuff in real estate. Like, I mean, I don't even know if I shouldn't. I need to find out. I know I'm having a squirrel moment here, but I need to find out about how many people are like in the real estate school. Has it peaked up because of what's happening?
What I wish I knew at the start. Trusting Blue Scorpion Property Preservation Management Group with our commercial landscaping was the best decision ever. Blue Scorpion Property Preservation Management Group has been transforming commercial spaces into green paradises. Our clients can't stop raving about us. Just listen to what they have to say.
First client review. Our property has never looked this good. 5 stars all the way.
Second client review. Professional, reliable, and simply the best in the business. 5-star service.
From lush green lawns to vibrant floral displays, we've got it all covered. Our dedicated team ensures your property not only looks great but stands out.
Third client review. Their attention to detail is incredible. Our landscaping has never been in better hands. 5 stars.
Whether you're a business or an individual, Blue Scorpion Property Preservation Management Group brings expertise, reliability, and a touch of magic to every project. Ready to transform your property? Join the 5-Star Club! Because at Blue Scorpion Property Preservation Management Group, we believe every property deserves to shine. Blue Scorpion Property Preservation Management Group, where properties thrive.
It
Or
did at the beginning of COVID. I had those numbers somewhere too, in percentages. It peaked during COVID because of
Being at
definitely
home.
here. Everyone started moving here, so houses were just flying and flying,
Oh.
especially here. There's other markets that were just as healthy as us. Like
Okay.
Florida was huge. Everybody was decided if I'm gonna work from home, I'm gonna work from home on a beach house at a beach house. So,
Oh gosh.
yeah, I think you saw an influx, but you
Okay.
also right after that, you saw everyone falling out of the market. Especially last year was a huge year of people getting out of the market.
Really?
Because yeah, usually people fall out like I think it's 90% is how
It's
high this
high.
statistic is
It's high.
of people that leave the industry within 2 years
Yeah, it's high.
because they can't figure it out,
And property
don't want to
management's the
put the
same.
work. Yeah,
Right. They'll open up a property management company saying that, oh, I'm a property management company.
you're right.
And then literally in 6 months, they're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like, what? Because it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to keep up with.
Well, I think it's real estate is a lot of people don't realize that it's your own business.
Right.
Like, yes, you work for a brokerage, but that's still your own business. You're getting
Right.
same with like insurance.
Right. Your
There's
marketing.
lots of you have to do all this stuff, put in the work, just like you're running a whole business by
Right.
yourself. And people don't realize how much that takes. Time
Right.
and money and
Energy.
energy. So they're like, nope, this isn't for me. You don't go to work at a brokerage and everything's just laid on your desk and you
Right.
go
Here's
paper
a
by paper.
referral. Here's
Yeah,
a
you
referral.
don't just flip the pages and answer the phone. That's not
Paint
how
my
it
nails.
is.
Here's a referral. Thank
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No.
clock out at 5 o'clock.
No.
Nope.
5.
Yeah. Right.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Never heard of that.
Either one, whether you're a real estate agent or property management. Sometimes my nights can be 1 a.m. in the morning, people. So do your research before you get into things that you might not. It looks grand on one side, and it also is work on the other side. That's
Right.
what I tell people: grand and work. So if you could do both of those combinations together, you got a good chance of being sustainable in the industry for a long, long time. For a long, long time, and you can end up loving it so much it's just in your blood, right? Like your family, it's just in the blood, right? Everybody's working and pumping and doing, and they love it.
Right.
So, okay, so let's get back on that commercial stuff and the commercial side
Yeah.
as I sip.
So I was researching a little bit what I was talking about, bringing viewers an idea of what to get into right now. I was like, I need to research a little bit more what the best is. What's the best way to make money? What's the highest part of commercial? Because there's so many different parts in commercial too. Everything
Right.
has a million different parts,
Right.
and then parts off of that. So it just all streams down.
Right.
Streams down. You have like industrial.
Okay.
So that's gonna be like the large manufacturers, things like that. Those huge facilities. But multifamily right now and industrial was on that list right now and this is coming from a Texas real estate company, Marcus and Millichap. That's actually based here in Houston. Multifamily and industrial have shown the most stability too, but also in the need for both of those and your ROI, your return on your investment, things like
Right.
that. That's what you want to pay attention to. I listed out some things on here too. I had
When should
to
you
write
write?
everything down.
No, it's good because I'm loving it because also I mean that's we share screens to like I like the energy there to be able to see what you're seeing as well. But what like the ROI? I mean in real estate as a realtor, what should be like when should somebody say, you know what, I better run. I better get up out of here with this building, or because you want to help people,
Yep.
right?
Well, when is a huge thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like
So
when it's like it's hard.
you're usually looking a good business plan and management is looking so far ahead,
Mhm.
and that's a big thing because of timing with selling a business or
Okay.
getting out. It takes real estate in the commercial side can take years
Right.
to sell, and then on top of that, usually a typical transaction takes months
Correct.
rather than 90 days or
Correct.
30 days like a house. You don't flip things like that because you have
Correct.
a lawyer to write up things.
Correct.
You got to get banks transferred around.
Correct.
There's a lot more to it. So timing and adjusting before you hit that point is huge.
Correct.
That's whenever you see businesses fail because they weren't assuming what's coming, assuming that we got to change something because like for instance, multifamily, those fall
Right.
through all the time. You see apartment complexes go vacant and they just stop doing what they do.
Right.
They
I have seen
put it
that
up for sale
before.
and nobody will sell it because it's all ran down. because they can't put any more money into it because they can barely pay their
It was
employees
tapped
now,
out. Yeah.
and now they're being squished. So they're like, let's just sit here till it falls.
Wow.
Like we'll at least pay the taxes on the building and shut off all the lights, and at least we have some real estate to sell, but we can't
Well,
open our doors anymore.
even talking about that, so I know this is guiding a little bit off the topic, but that is one of the things we do as a property management company. We do come into locations, and sometimes it's communities reach out to us, and we'll come into a location. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to go into a location pretty soon here, and they'll say this hotel has been up for X amount of years. We're sick of it. They've gated it off. People jump it. They're tearing it up. So it's kind of like what you just said, but
So it's closed.
It's closed. It's an eyesore. They're paying the taxes on it. So the tax assessor is like, look, I'm getting my money.
Right.
Yeah. So
Let it sit.
I'm getting my
Do
money.
what you want.
You need to call the ordinance people now, the city ordinance.
Yeah.
You know, and you call them, and it's such a long process. We've done it for so many clients as property management because you have to think about we're like looking at things aesthetically all the time, right? It's like, okay, that looks good, and then when you're called in to do something like that, now you got to hope to get on the docket, get in front of the mayor, write this letter, take a timestamp picture of this. We're finishing up one currently, but getting ready to go into a whole another sector of it. So when you said that, it just brought to my mind, you know, yes, maybe the project failed and don't have the right funding, but it's really, to me, I feel like that's their responsibility to go back to that location and go look.
Yeah.
You know, don't leave this here. You need to hire somebody to watch over it, but I know the money might be tight.
Right.
But some of these things are just left in places where it's making the whole neighborhood, the whole area go down.
Yeah, that's weird to me too. Always has been. Why just let yourself fall into a pit? You could have, and why let that building rot?
Right.
Like that could have been saved at some
point.
Why?
At some point.
Why'd you wait this long to just let it set like that?
Right, and I can't even
And
think of
ruin
the
it
guy's
for the next
name.
person.
What's the guy's name? I can't even think of it. Yeah, ruin it for the next person, but I can't even think of the guy's name that does the mansions, the abandoned mansions.
Oh, the tours.
The
on
tours of
social
abandoned,
media.
the social media, and
I can't remember.
can you imagine seeing all? I mean, I've seen so many episodes of that I'm like, man, some of them like, oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Some of them are outdated,
Yeah.
right? But some of them you're like, wow, what happened?
I think people dig themselves so deep into maybe money trouble or
Right.
tied up in some type of lawsuit or something,
Right.
and they think that they can't get out.
Right,
So no one's coming to them. Maybe someone is and they're not answering the phone or they're
right.
too scared
But
to
short
make a move.
sales,
But
all kinds of.
and I think that's education. I don't think people know that's out there, that they had an
I didn't think
option
about that.
before letting it get to that point. I think
Right.
almost always there's a way out of things. It doesn't have to just crash and burn. I think
Right,
there's a way to save the plane,
right,
like,
right.
before you hit
Right.
the
It's like,
ground.
anybody on here a pilot?
Right.
Anybody a pilot? The
Right.
pilot just passed out.
Right, exactly. For
I mean, that would have been me.
For real.
I would have been like, hold up, we're
not
gonna
even just-
we're gonna fix this.
not even just look for the pilot, somebody that
Right.
knows how to work
How many
on
hours?
machines.
Right. How
Yeah.
many hours of airplane school did you?
Yeah.
You're next.
You're
Come on.
good enough.
Good
You'll
enough.
get us
Come on.
there.
You'll get us to the land. yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, you're right, and I didn't think about it that way because I'm just like, that's incredible to see different things of that nature, and
Yeah.
I think that's where we are. When you asked me the question in the beginning, that's where we are currently in the phasing out of the COVID time.
Yeah.
Now the reality is prices of things are going up, insurance, everything, right?
Everything.
So now the companies are going, wait a minute, we have a building where? Wait a minute, nobody's in that building.
Right.
What is the insurance premium? Oh no, let's get rid of this thing.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of like good management of your business and
Right.
money is to assess those things and make the move.
Right.
Why sit on it? Like all of these people that set for 4 years now and just now deciding, oh, maybe we should get rid of it. That's
Right.
an expense we've been paying for nothing.
Right.
Why would you not have just made that move? Which woulda, coulda, shoulda always will
Right.
be the death of us. But I think good businesses. That should be written in that you pay attention to that.
Right.
If we don't need something, get rid of it.
It's
We're not
making an
using it.
assessment.
Yeah.
Just make an assessment. Like, I think it's whoever's the owner, CEO, CFO,
Right.
CFO. Stop eating popcorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sit up.
Pay attention.
Pay attention, like, to what's happening, because I think that that's a good steward of your money.
Right.
Like, you should be a good steward of your time, your money. You do make mistakes. Now,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, when you're an entrepreneur, you make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. Every day.
Every day. But it's the willingness to get up and do something.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there.
Right. It's kind of like what we were talking about when naming this, is the commercial industry and residential too. Is real estate in a crisis or a transition?
Right.
I was like, I hate the word crisis or
Right.
anything that's so negative like that it's gonna. Because in my mind, crisis, like, it's coming to crash down on you. It's all over.
It's over.
Yeah. I hate that
Tell your
because I'm
mother
like,
you love her.
yeah, right. That's what I think of when I hear that word,
Right.
and I'm like, no,
Right.
I think every transition is how I would think of everything in life, not even
Right.
just real estate, because there's always a way out.
Correct.
We're gonna keep going. Everybody's gonna wake up tomorrow. The sun's still gonna come up just like it
Right.
did the day
and
before.
it's always gonna be real estate.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, somebody need a place to stay, somebody need a place to be. It's always
Certain
gonna
businesses still have to
Right.
be out there. You're not
Right.
gonna put a McDonald's in everybody's garage, so
Right.
you still gotta
Right.
have a McDonald's down the street.
be right.
Gas station. Not everybody's gonna have a gas pump in their house, so
Right.
you
Well,
gotta go.
and it's thinking like what you just said. I mean, we're still gonna everybody. So I do have a client that I was talking to in regards to selling and things, and one of the things that's happening too, and I'm gonna ask you about the trend. Well, it's probably not that many out there, but having those plug-in car stations at the commercial facility, that's really almost separate from it's a part of their building, but it's almost separate because they've had a contract they signed, and some of them had to keep them for longer periods of time, the commercial property, based off of how the contract was with the
Right.
plug-ins for the cars, to be like convenient and make revenue from that, but
Right.
they're not using their building anymore.
Yeah.
The building is empty, but they put these portals there that are not, they're being used by people, I guess, that come through possibly, but they're holding on to the commercial property a little bit longer because of whatever the agreement was.
Yeah.
That's
But,
something I've seen too.
Yeah, that's true. Some people are kind of locked into things.
Right.
So that's where you might see some of that vacancy and letting things get ran down.
Right.
But no, I think to spin off that electric vehicle charging stations, that's a transition that oil and gas companies made with gas stations is, oh, I'm not selling as much gas now that there's so many electric vehicles getting put on the road. Let's transition and add that to our gas station.
That's
Let's put
smart.
charging stations
That's smart.
at the gas station.
That's smart.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on,
see
hold
that?
on. Y'all just
Yeah.
got a nugget. Y'all better
right?
y'all better write
So,
that down. That's
yeah.
pretty good. Hold
Yeah.
on. Let me put
You
that
see
in
that
my-
a lot because they're like, well, you can't stop
That's smart,
everything.
though.
You're not, no oil and gas company is going to say, nope, everybody has
They
to
have
still
to.
buy gas. I'm not going to stop, which is true. That's going to be
Right.
around forever
But that would
still.
only make sense. They got all that
So let's do
extra
both.
stuff. Yeah, they got all of that extra stuff. I have not yet seen a gas station that has both.
Really?
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Where?
Lots.
For real?
You probably aren't just paying attention.
Okay, I
Your
haven't.
eyes not out for it.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I'm not looking for it because I don't have an electric vehicle.
Right.
Every now and then I see them at the Walgreens and different things. I'm like, oh, look,
Yeah.
But that's smart.
Yeah, you see them everywhere. Gas stations. One of the malls I went to recently, I'm trying to think which one it was. I hate going to the mall. I hate malls,
Me
but
too.
I
Get it
went
online. Get it
to one or
online.
something.
Austin.
Right?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing, dinosaur?
Just trying to, I know. Just trying to bring it back.
It's funny because
Trying to-
I probably is more the dinosaur than you.
Whatever. Live through the nostalgic.
Oh,
era,
no.
Walking through Macy's or
You're like, I
Macy's
wanna
even
see
open.
it
Macy's
all.
are still open. Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have
Yeah,
Macy's.
yeah,
in
yeah.
the
Dillard's,
Woodlands.
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
My store is Nordstrom, but
yeah,
okay.
love
Uh,
Nordstrom. It's dangerous.
It's very.
Yeah. Uncle Amex doesn't like Nordstrom so much.
Well,
Start sweating when
I
walking
love
in.
it. I know, right? So you've seen both. I haven't yet, and I need to start paying more close attention then, because I haven't. So that's pretty cool, because that is like whoever owns that gas station. That's very innovative, especially
Right.
on the commercial side.
And be on the forefront of it.
Yeah. That's a nugget.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time we get on this YouTube, you share, you like, and subscribe, because we give nuggets, y'all.
Right.
This is nuggets. So, okay. So what else we have on it?
So yeah, the little nugget, the big nugget was kind of what you're putting your money into. What's the best industry to get into with commercial investments, multifamily and industrial. And one thing that's happening here a lot, and it's all over the U.S., like I said, with some political changes too, is bringing in more business,
Okay.
of manufacturing and things like that. So trying to not outsource all of the needs of things, Amazon products, things like that. You're seeing all of those manufacturing coming to the States, specifically Texas and our area too. We're getting a lot. So industrial sites, a lot of businesses don't want to own their real estate. They have too much going on. They want to come in and a building be there and they lease it. They'll pay.
Right.
They're fine with splitting some money up for
Right.
things like that. So building a building like that and leasing it out. Which, I mean, there's a lot to that, owning all those things. You got to know how to build the right team with all of that.
Right. Right.
So knowing you're not just going to pop up a building and somebody's going to
Right.
find it for you.
Right.
You got to have somebody in the real estate industry for you that can market it. Like I pay for tons of sites that I can go list and talk to other people in the commercial world and say, hey, do you have a client that's looking for this? That's usually how you get things filled, rather than even just listing it on these things and letting them set and hoping that somebody finds it on there.
I know.
That's not
That's
not the
definitely
greatest
not
way.
going to get it.
Yes, it
now.
happens, but yeah, that's the biggest thing that we talk about in meetings a lot, is that times have changed. We're transitioning, that you can't just list things online and hope that somebody finds it. You got to do a little bit more with it.
Right.
Which social media helps, which is crazy.
Done.
People don't believe it. Right. That's what everyone thinks, which is the old way to do it. And that happened, and
Right.
it worked, but it's not. It still works. It's just not
Right.
always the best, and not
Because
the
you're competing
not the
with
only
everything
way.
else that social media provides to you.
Right.
So how are they going to see that one little button you push done after you and post? Like, you're competing against so many algorithms and
Right.
so much stuff out there.
Right. But yeah, social media is bringing in business, and that's just showing people,
Right.
not directing business to social media. It's just, I didn't see that on that site, but
Right.
all of a sudden it was on my Instagram last night. Like,
Right.
and I had a buyer for a residential house last year, and the agent admitted that to me. Because there's little behind the scenes things that realtors do to kind of narrow in people's searches whenever they are
That's
just
good.
like, oh, I'm good, I want to look all over that area, and I'm like, okay, well, there's 1,300 houses just in that 1 mile radius,
Right.
so we got to
Let me
tone it in.
let me just go get a barnyard of gas. for you.
Right, yeah. We're like, you'll be looking for
Yeah.
days just looking through my list
And,
if I do
lose
that.
potential. Like, lose potential. If you saw something, you could lose it based off of you're trying to look at 13,000 places.
Right. So this realtor had knocked out literally by the county line of where the neighborhood that my listing was in, and the client had saw it on social media. One ad came across and he was like, why didn't you send me this house? It says the same address. And she was like, I don't know, let me call him. So she calls me, starts to go through, and she was like, are you not listed on anything? And I said, of course I am. And I sent it to her, and she was like, oh my gosh, it's literally on like feet over her little map that she's made.
Really?
Yeah, and there's better ways to do that that doesn't happen.
Right.
That's something that is just his dream, because this was exactly what this guy was looking for.
Really?
He spent 6 months looking all over this area, and right next door this was hiding through the trees.
Wow.
And so they freaked
Well,
out.
and that's
So I
why
was
it's
like,
good to have an experienced person.
yeah,
For real.
definitely matters a lot.
For real.
But I was excited that I now could say that, hey, the social media post
Right.
actually got me someone,
Well,
got me a
that's
buyer
good.
from my listing. It does matter,
Right.
and that there are tons of houses and commercial properties out there online. You
Right.
take days and years and months looking through
They'll
them
be
all.
gone by then.
They're gone by then.
Right, they're gone by then. All you have is just the remnants of the chicken bone or
Right.
something. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. So
You
let
know.
Meta do its job in their AI
Right.
service
I love AI,
and
y'all.
find the buyer for you and put it in front of their face
I
over and
love
over
it.
again.
I love it.
Yeah. I
AI
know.
is my friend.
Right. Everyone gets a little freaked out by some of those, like
They do.
whenever it first started doing it, and everyone was talking about it too, like crazy.
I love it.
Do you ever talk about going to eat at an Asian restaurant and all of a
And it
sudden
pops.
that Asian restaurant I was thinking of pops up on
Right.
but you can kind of kill the mindset of what's
Right.
all behind it. There's not
it's
as
always
much
been
as what you
here.
think, but it has.
It's always been here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's brand new. I think it's always been here.
Yep.
So I know we're winding it up. So anything else about
I
it?
think just building your team. Once
Okay.
you do get into looking for the right commercial space, you got to build your team right with knowing what you need. That's the biggest thing
Right.
on your team. So somebody that knows real estate in that area,
Right.
got to have kind of like a CFO, like you thought of, or we're saying earlier.
Right.
Someone to do your money, a lender,
Right.
and then appraisers are a big thing. Attorneys are huge in that too.
I would tell people that all the time.
Yeah, it's
All the time.
I keep one on hand for everything
All the time.
now.
All the time.
But
Seriously.
and it's not just protection. It's
Knowledge.
not just that. It's just knowledge.
Knowledge.
And they're the ones who are writing everything up for you.
Right.
They're the ones who write the documents that say what your business is, and at the end of the day, and protects you.
Right. I was just gonna say, and protects you.
Yeah. So building that team is huge. And I kind of listed out too who to hire first and things like that.
Tell us real quick.
It
Tell me.
kind of, yeah, I'll do it real quick, but kind of depends on where you're going, what you're trying to do.
Okay.
In commercial, but you want to have somebody to be like a property manager. You
Okay.
want somebody to right.
As I glaze into
Right,
the camera.
I know.
Okay.
And that's not even just, it can be a real estate agent too
Right.
that finds your company to do the
Right.
maintenance and things like that, especially if you're buying a resale that's
Right.
already established building. Somebody to figure out those finances for you and find the vendors for you. So find the property management company,
Right.
find the lender for you.
Right.
And that's kind of where the developer name comes from, because that's usually
Right.
why somebody hires a developer, is somebody that person is the person in real estate to find all of those
Right.
people for you. This is what you need. This is when you need it. Somebody do transaction and marketing for you.
Right.
An analyst and does underwriting support. So I do a lot of those things. For like the commercial stuff I do,
Right.
I pay for all these programs to help me run statistics and needs and get ROIs and all of those documents you want to pay attention to whenever you're buying another business, rent rolls, income statements, all the data behind it. That's all huge, because
Right.
it's all, you can decide if a business is good to buy or not all on paper. It's not
Right.
just by, oh, that would be a good thing to put in there.
Right.
Well,
Right.
let me add it up real quick and see if it's a good
Right.
thing. It's all
Right.
what the numbers say. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, I think this is
pay
good
attention
knowledge. And I think that the listeners, would have not have thought of all of the different things that we've talked about, especially, trying to get into it. But hey, they might know everything. You
Right.
never know.
Right.
But this is just some things that can help guide people in this area. Well, as always, it's always good to have these chats. It's always good to talk. It's always good to go over real estate. I love it. I love it. But
too.
we're about to end, and I just want to tell everybody, and you have anything else you want to tell the people before we end it
No.
today? Okay.
Invest in real estate.
Yeah, really, really. Do not wait.
Or do not wait.
Do not wait.
It's just gonna keep going up.
It's just going to keep going, and it's going to keep going without you.
The deals are still there.
Right,
There's good
right.
deals out there.
It's going to keep going without you, too. So, y'all like, share, subscribe. And once again, y'all stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, and we'll do the same. Bye.
Bye.